Today I'll be showing you how to tear apart the PSP 1000 Phat Model. And on this console the charging port is broken, and also I'll be changing the entire housing, but that's going to be saved for another video. So in this one I'll basically show you step by step on how to remove the motherboard, the LCD screen, and all the screws on this device. So if you're interested in what type of housing I'll be changing it into, you can follow the playlist in the description below and you can go from there. So let's begin by removing the battery on the back. And I've been repairing smartphones, cell phones, and small mobile devices for over 10 years, so I don't really need a lot of tools. But when it comes down to it, you basically need a small Phillips screwdriver and some type of flat tool. So you can use like this plastic flat tool that most people use, but I like to use just a flat head here. Nothing too crazy. I do have a couple more Phillips screwdrivers just in case. But you can pick up these tools at a local hardware store, and very easy to find. And if you can't find it, you can always buy it on eBay or Amazon. Now I'm going to remove the memory card, and there's going to be one screw on the bottom here, and there's going to be several screws on the back, and you're going to void your warranty because there are a couple screws under there too. So there's two right there, and there also is a couple screws on this side, showing you step by step. And I'll try to zoom in on some parts. So there's the first screw on the bottom. Let's remove that guy. Here's number 2 and 3. Let's take those guys off, right? And sometimes you need a longer. This tool seems to work for me just fine. This little husky screwdriver. It's very sharp end, so you can get down to those little screws, and it has a magnetic tip, which is nice. There's the third screw. And now we're going to damage the sticker on the bottom. There she is. So I'm going to remove that sticker and reveal 2 screws, one there, here. Screw number 4. And screw number 5. So this is your watermark sticker, and anytime that's a solid red, that means that the console had contact with moisture. So you want to make sure and double check if that is red. You want to make sure that there's nothing damaged on your system. Now we got to remove these 2 screws on this side. These are going to be a little tough. And these screws are holding down the faceplate. Yeah, these screws are in there pretty good. So you want kind of you want a good size screwdriver because you have a better grip on it. And there's the first screw. Alright, so I got those 2 screws, and those guys were a little difficult because there was a bunch of dirt stuck in there. And once you get those screws off, you can now lift the faceplate, but you want to make sure this is removed. This was missing even before I started, so this is just the analog cover. Alright, so here we go. Very easy stuff. nothing to worry about really. Alright, so there is the faceplate. And the analog control. This one's going to have 2 screws. And we can just remove that right now, because we will be needing that. Try to keep the screws together with the controller here. Very dusty. And you can remove the D-pad cover, the buttons. And here are the triangle, square, circle, X button. I want to remove this little cover. And the buttons can just fall out like that. And if you want to reuse these buttons on the bottom, it is just glued on, so you basically just want to grab an end, just kind of peel off, but you want to be careful not to tear it. Boom. So there's the adhesive. Very good. And that's your old faceplate. Forgot to remove this in the beginning. It does kind of get annoying in your way, but since this is an old one, I'm just gonna cut it. It's an old lanyard. We don't really need it. I don't need it. Alright, so now we made it this far, and we got this cable to remove. And these are the bottom controls. And you want to be very careful because we're going to pry this off the LCD and also the metal frame that holds the LCD. So I'm going to try to zoom in as best as I can here and show you. Here's the clip. You want to be very careful, so I like to work from the bottom. Just try to get in there. So you can see it's already coming off. Once you get one end, it should completely just pop off, which is nice. Here we go. I want to be very careful because this is attached to another board. And we're going to zoom in here. And now we want to open the door. Here's our first door. The ribbon door. I'm not sure what you call it. I'm an amateur, guys, but I've been doing this for a long time. Here we go. So you just want to open the door like so. Get under there. Be very gentle because you can't break that. And then you just want to slide that off or use your 2 fingers to pull it out. Okay, moving on. Let's remove the left and right triggers. Very easy to do that. And now moving on to the LCD screen. Now this is a little scary because you can break this, and we're going to be prying again. So there's going to be 4 tabs. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you just get one side of the 2 to come off, it's basically going to be a piece of cake. So let's get on this side just because I have better lighting. And this corner, you just kind of don't want to pry too hard because you can crack that LCD. So you can see there's one tab. You can always just squeeze in there a little bit. Just kind of work your way up. And now you can see that it's already lifted. Now you want to work on the other side here. There is some glue that you're going to have to remove, so just kind of take that off. Taking my time, and you can see there it just popped out. So the glue is really holding it down, and I'm gonna have to kind of cut through it here. It's not making it easy to Alright, so once we're in, we're in. And there it is. Alright, so we got it, and you want to be very careful not to completely lift it because there are two ribbons we have to remove from the motherboard. And now we're just going to flip this guy around. Very careful. And go like this. There are the two cables. There's a small one, a small skinny one here, and this big one. And you have to remove it by opening the doors. Here's a little one. I don't really know the terminology of some of this stuff, but I've been doing it for so many years that I don't bother to question. I just tear apart, replace, move on. So here's the little one. You want to be very careful. This one is very fragile. This one will break on you if you don't be careful. And just try to get this big one off. Now, don't use the ends. Try to pry it in the middle, because if you do the ends, it will break a little bit. You just kind of want to be very gentle and just keep at it until it lifts. And there we go. Very gentle. Let's remove the big one and the little one. Now this door, I just use my thumb a little bit to open it up, and there it is. Okay, the hardest part is out of the way, finally. Now we can remove the frame. And there's going to be a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws. And that is holding down the metal frame. Let's start at the left, on the top left corner. There's 2 screws. We got a flat gray color one and kind of a shinier screw. Moving on to the right top hand corner, little one there, and at the bottom we have this black one. Here's a gray one. Moving on to the left bottom corner, there's 3 screws. There we go. Get out of there. And one more. Okay, so we removed all those screws, and now we can open this guy up. And you want to open it by holding down the switch so this can retract and come off just like that. Let's start on the right side, and oh, there's a nice piece of hair there. Alright, we're going to remove the charging port, and you want to be very careful because this is very fragile. I wouldn't even remove the cable from the motherboard. You can damage this and there's no going back, because soldering it would be very difficult, and I know most people don't want to bother with that, so we're not going to remove it. So all we have to do is just take this one screw off on the bottom here, and that's basically it. On this side, we're just going to be looking at some clips. We have one clip here and another clip here. Let me zoom in a little more. And this is your LED light, and here's your power switch right there. can see that. There's your hold and there's your power on. Okay, so let's get this guy off. Like to go on the bottom here. Go like that. Want to be careful because there's a ribbon underneath this board. Here's your triangle, square, circle, and X. There's another clip there. There we go. Now I'm just going to flip this over and remove this here. Now we have this part also. Boom. So this ribbon here goes up to the top for your right trigger, and you want to remove this metal piece that holds the rubber down. You can see there. That's your button. And this is kind of, it's not really glued down. There is a little bit of adhesive, but nothing too crazy. And that's basically it for that side. Okay, now on the left side, we have one screw here. Let's remove that. And you want to be careful because there is another ribbon right here. Now what you want to do is just flip this over to reveal the door. Right here. Lift that up. And there we go. Okay, so now we have to disconnect the two speakers and the UMD. So we have two cables running the UMD drive here. You want to be very careful not to tamper with the drive because you will break this if you're not careful. So you just want to lift this here. Then this one's a little tricky. You're gonna have to use like two tools or two fingers, but there's a tab on each side. And see, you see how that one closed on me? And then now you can remove that little guy. There we go. And as far as the speakers go, you just want to be very careful not to break any of these little chips. Get under the tape and remove that. And you can just pop this out. There's really no glue with these. They're just kind of sitting in the little slot there. Go to the end and gently pull. Sometimes if they don't want to come out, you use your flat tool to get in between. Get in between those guys, and then you can pull just like that. We'll do the same thing for the right speaker. Just kind of get it started a little bit, and this one's a lot longer, so we might be able to pull that. There we go. And this one's easier to get at because there's like a little opening right here, and I'd recommend doing this because you don't want to damage it by just pulling on it. Okay, now the motherboard is gonna have, let's see here, one screw, and that's all I see is the one screw. So we're just gonna get that started, get the party started. Okay, so we have to remove this part. Let's get that tape off. Lift this up, power, so we can get access to this cable that's attached to the Wi-Fi and memory card board. And it's gonna be underneath this little tab, so we wanna get under it, go over, and it's going to be held down by some tape here. Be very careful not to break any of the little circuits. And now that's ready. Now for the motherboard, we want to go on the bottom and pry this way. Now this side of the board, it's going to be sticking. It's going to seem like it doesn't want to get out, but you just want to keep prying until you get a nice little pop, because it's connected to another board on the bottom, and you just want to tilt. This one's coming off really easy. Basically you want to lift up, pull out because of the USB port. You want to be very careful not to break that. And now we have this metal cover, and there's, let's see, one screw on the top. Okay, so we have 2 screws on the bottom on this side, and this is holding this plastic bezel, this plastic piece, and it's just holding down, and just find a nice spot to pull out of. Now we can see the other board underneath. Let's get rid of this plastic piece here. Alright, so we got that plastic piece off. And here comes the last part. Now to remove the UMD door along with the UMD reader. So this is gonna be, alright, so we've got that metal piece too. And you can remove this screw here to replace the broken door or whatever. Very easy stuff. Plastic cover, and there is the Memory Stick Pro Duo door. Now back to the UMD, and we want to pry on this corner. And it should come off easily. Bada bing, bada boom. Here we go on the bottom. Let's see that. That will remove it right there. You see that? Just kind of unhook. So you want to start on the left side if you're looking at it this way. The UMD reader will have 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's begin on the top. And you want to save those little plastic bumpers. Definitely need those. Moving on to the right side. Bottom, right side. And left. Final screw. Congratulations, you made it this far. Thank you so much for watching. I know my commentary is not that great. And that's it, everyone. You just open her up. This guy to come out too. The spring mechanism. And that is it, guys. That is it for the disassembly. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, please comment below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.